You know, just like I told people on my video on Daniel Jacobs is going to take a miracle. Just like I said in that video, I said, what was my problem with Daniel Jacobs? I said, I didn't have no faith in Daniel Jacobs, and I went with Canelo Alvarez because Daniel Jacobs has no follow through. And not only that, based off his last two fights, especially with Daniel Jacobs versus, Solicki? Solicki was outboxing him then, was outpointing him then. And Canelo Alvarez is a way better fighter than him. So already knew coming into the fight. But Daniel Jacobs has no follow through. How many times did Daniel Jacobs started to create a shift and he would stop in the middle of his pursuit? How many times did that happen during the fight? Daniel Jacobs has no follow through, on top of he has no inside game whatsoever. Daniel Jacobs punches didn't look strong. Canelo Alvarez looked strong in that fight. Daniel Jacobs did not look strong. Those jabs didn't look strong. And it was crazy because for Daniel Jacobs to be the size that he is, I would think that he wouldn't let Canelo Alvarez keep him on the back foot like that. And another thing I said in that video is Daniel Jacobs don't use his size. He don't use his reach. He don't use his natural attributes that he has. He was naturally the bigger man than Canelo, and Canelo was walking his ass down, and he did not look strong. Okay, so you lost a million point point three, a million point four for you to feel stronger just to go in there and perform like that. And if that was the plan that Daniel Jacobs had, he had no business taking the fight anyway, because the style he was using in which to fight that fight, he was not going to win that fight. He was not going to win a point by point fight. He wasn't supposed to go in there and box. And as far as Canelo Alvarez go, I think Canelo Alvarez has had his second growth spurt. I think after that fight with Triple G, I think after that fight with Triple G and after that fight with Mayweather, I think Canelo Alvarez is now complete. Canelo Alvarez will now stand in front of anybody now. Like I said, once I seen how deep he could dig in that second fight, I knew Canelo Alvarez was the truth. And after beating Daniel Jacobs, especially like this, it's no doubt that Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound number one. You can't deny that kid that. He's pound for pound number one. Look what he's done. 51 fights, 28 years old, one loss, stacked ass resume, high ring IQ, good ring generalship, aggressiveness, power, speed, punch selection. I mean, the list just goes on with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is the fucking truth. But Daniel Jacobs, I was not surprised in what he showed. It's something that I knew that he was going to do this entire time. And it was crazy because I watched the fight in the theater. You would be surprised at how the entire theater was fucking yelling at Daniel Jacobs. Even people who was in there rooting for Canelo was looking at Daniel Jacobs like, man, what the fuck is you doing? Because he would get something going and then he would just lay off the gas. Get something going and he would just lay off the gas. Another thing I don't like about Daniel Jacobs, once he gets going, Daniel Jacobs likes to do something that boxing coaches hate when you first starting out in boxing, and that is admiring your work. Whenever Daniel Jacobs lets off a combination or something like that, he likes to sit back and watch it. You know what I'm saying? He admire his work. That's an amateur mistake right there that he was doing. He sit back and admiring his fucking work as if he did something. And then as soon as he get off a good combination, Daniel Jacobs do that stupid ass shit that I hate. He do that dumb ass head nod like, yeah, let's go. I just did something. Yeah, I'm Daniel Jacobs. Did you see that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He always do that dumb ass head nod. He'll let off a good combination, and instead of pursuing and keep going, he'll just stand in front of you and be like, bob his head like, yeah, I did that. You know, that's my problem with Daniel Jacobs. Extremely disappointing. And this is what I got to say. For all those who want to hate on Canelo Alvarez, but yet said Errol Spence gave a dominating performance over Mikey Garcia. If Errol Spence performance was dominating over Mikey Garcia, then what Canelo Alvarez did to Daniel Jacobs is dominating over Daniel Jacobs. You can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways. And if you ask me, Canelo Alvarez handled his opposition better than Errol Spence did. So if you saying that Errol Spence dominated Mikey Garcia, then Canelo Alvarez dominated Daniel Jacobs. That's just the way that shit goes. But I wasn't surprised by Daniel Jacobs. That's what he do all the time. Just look at his last fucking 2 fights. That should have let you know the outcome of that fucking fight. Daniel Jacobs has no fucking follow through. He talks a good game. He's talking all that shit. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. He get in front of Canelo and he freezes. He freezes. All that size, all that. Look how bigger he was than Canelo Alvarez. And that just made Canelo Alvarez just more impressive. Did he have some good shots in there? Yeah, he has some good shots in there. But he didn't even go for broke at the fucking end. That's what lets you know what kind of corner you got that told you, man, go for broke at the end of this fight. They didn't tell you that. He didn't even go for broke at the fucking end of the fight. He had nothing to fucking lose. And Daniel Jacobs had all the attributes to win the fucking fight. But Daniel Jacobs mentally has no fucking follow through. Sit back and admire his work. That's the same thing he did with Triple G. That's the same thing I brung up in that Daniel Jacobs is going to take a miracle video. It's the same thing that I brought up. Daniel Jacobs just wanted to prove to himself that he could stand there in front of Triple G more than he was concerned with winning the fucking fight. That's why he really didn't fucking win the fight. Daniel Jacobs just want to prove he can stand there in front of Triple G and yeah, look at me. And he did the same old stupid ass shit. Pump his fists together and do that dumbass head nod like, yeah, let's go. I did that. You know, I mean, like I said, I'm not shocked. I went with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is the truth, without a doubt. Pound for pound, #1 in my book. I have to give it to him. It's not anything I can even negotiate. I can't give it to Vasily Lomachenko. I can't give it to Terrence Crawford. It is without a doubt Canelo Alvarez. And overall, I will say, even though Daniel Jacobs underperformed, it was still an entertaining fight. It was still an entertaining fight. And I liked it. I would have liked a little bit more exchange. I wanted it to be a little bit more rougher. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Bruce Vane, I'm out.